Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to Honor Radio. We are honored to have a great guest on today, Ron Nocetti from the CIF. He's the president of the CIF. I'll let him give you a little bit more of his credentials, but we want to jump right into this because we got a lot to discuss, and I know that you guys want to hear a little bit more about what's going on with high school athletics in the state of California, and this man has got his fingers on the pulse of that. And so, Ron, we thank you. Maybe you could tell us your credentials and a little bit about you.
Sure, absolutely. First of all, just to make sure I don't upset my president of the CIF, I'm the executive director of the CIF.
Thanks, Ron.
My president, Mr. Perry. No, I'm, my background is like most in the CIF. I started out as a teacher, a coach, as a high school administrator. Joined the CIF in 2008, came through a variety of functions, running championship events, was the associate executive director, and then last year, this is actually my first year as executive director.
Ron, you've been a great friend to our cause ever since we started back in 2010. I remember Pete Sacco came on with us and just loved what we were doing to support military veterans and student athletes being involved to help raise funds for veterans. And then I saw you kind of grow within the CIF, right? And now you're a very influential leader around the state. And man, we can't thank you enough for your support and for giving us your insight as to what's been happening in the high school sports world ever since we've been hit with this terrible virus. Maybe you could just kind of fill us in on what's going on with the CIF so everybody that's watching this could get a direct word from you, Ron, as to what you've been going through.
Absolutely. Well, we recently met with all the 10 section commissioners, and I think the media has done a great job of putting our information out there and our decision out there to, let's put the decision on hold for right now. There's so many other things going on in our state, in our local communities, and our entire country that there was no need for us to say at that point in time that we are going to cancel all spring sports. We're meeting again on April 3rd. Obviously, as you can see from the last few days, that things are getting incredibly serious, and I think all of what I'm starting to see, which I'm so appreciative of, is I'm starting to see statewide from all of our people, all of our coaches, our student athletes, that while they can't wait to get back out there, they also understand that their first responsibility is to their greater community. And I think that's what's most important. And it's times like these that our school communities really step up and talk to their students about doing the right thing. And this entire situation is such a learning experience for our student athletes that as much as they want to play, it's also teaching them how to be great citizens.
Wow, man, I respect that. I respect that a lot. I know that we've been hearing a lot of and seeing a lot of communication back and forth with the athletes, and many are very understanding. But obviously, there's that hurt. I've been hearing from parents about, my kids aren't going to be able to walk and have graduation and all that other stuff. What do you want to say to parents?
Well, I think it's the same with parents. I know that hurt, and I have student athletes of my own in the house, and just last year when we had to look at what the situation was with the wildfires, and we had to cancel our Northern California water polo championships for our boys and girls, and they worked extremely hard for that time, just like our basketball student athletes did this year. And there were parents that called very upset, and I completely understand. And I was able to tell them, I'm right there with them. I had to tell my daughter, who was a student athlete on a water polo team at Rio Americano High School that was going to be in the event, that her event was canceled. And looking in her eyes, and when you start to realize your own children's pain, you realize that we're also making decisions that affect 835,000 student athletes in the state of California.
Wow, 835.
And so we understand that pain, but again, I think everyone involved in our communities is realizing that this is bigger than that. And at some point in time, the hope is still there that school communities will have in some way, shape, or form, maybe be able to do something to close out the spring season for their student athletes. But, if we don't get to that, I think people are going to understand, and they're going to know that we did everything possible to try and make that a reality given the circumstances.
So April 3rd is the kind of like the deadline that you guys are looking at right now in regards to the next decision that would be made regarding spring sports.
Sure. And the only thing I wouldn't say is I wouldn't say deadline. We're meeting, and that's the next date we're meeting. And, we talked about in the release that we're going to reassess the situation at that time. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to have a lot more information from many of our school districts where they are. We're seeing school districts now that I think the majority of them I don't want to say majority because I don't know the answer exactly to that, but many of them are out now till mid-April or later. We've seen some out as late as the end of April. And I think we've even seen one or two that are going to a distance learning model for the remainder of the school year. So I think as we gather more information, this is where our 10 section commissioners are invaluable. Mm-hmm. And they're doing everything that we're doing statewide. They're doing within their own local communities. So they're all gathering information. So they'll be able to come to that meeting knowing exactly what every school in their section is doing. Mm-hmm. So we have the best information to make the best possible decisions moving forward.
Awesome, buddy. Well, I got to tell you, the CIF is highly respected, and I know that all of you men, I've met most of you personally, are great men, and you truly care for high school sports and the athletes and the schools and all that. And man, I just can't even imagine the pressure on you, Ron, and all of your directors. I'm sure it's quite a load, and we're praying and thinking about you, buddy. Just want you to know that.
No, I appreciate that. The women and men involved with the CIF, the girls and boys that play sports within our state, they're all people that are at the forefront of all of our minds right now, and our school people. It's so great to see our teachers, even when they're being told that they can't do anything that's maybe mandatory this time in a lot of areas, they're still doing everything they can to provide for kids. And that's what we all do. And I think that's what's most important. And that's what's at the forefront of what we're doing right now.
We talked to Bill Gunn, who's the athletic director of Centennial yesterday, and they're a phenomenal public school down in Corona. And he just got done when we did our podcast, which the people will see after you. He just got done feeding the kids. They did a big feed and was out there working and making sure the kids were fed that needed food. And so I know that everybody is stepping up in their communities and doing what they can. Ron, is there anything that you could offer to the student athletes out there that might tell them about, things they could do to stay active or to stay in shape while we're all in a sheltered down mode? Is there anything you could offer them for that?
Absolutely. I think, there's the nice part about the world that we live in today is there's so much online, so much, right? We've seen so many fitness instructors throughout the area, coaches throughout the area that are putting drills online, things you can do inside your house, things you can do in your own backyard to just stay active. I also want to make sure that our students, athletes know that it's student first. And so while it's not the norm, they have to remember that, their teachers are there for them and they're giving them work. And keep your minds active, keep doing your homework, keep doing your schoolwork, because in reality, that's what's going to carry you the furthest in life. And I think they all have to remember that.
So true.
Get up! Get up! Get up!
Okay, so when we do the Honor Bowl, we're very close to the United States Marine Corps. This all started because of the relationship that I had with my boy and what he went through in 2010 with his terrible deployment with the 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines in Afghanistan. Well, their slogan is "Get Some," and so that's Rick Sutter having fun with their call. But anyways, Ron, I just want to thank you for taking the time to do this. I know you're a busy guy. I know that you got a lot of pressure. We're not going to keep you long, but thank you for that little insight. Is there anything else that you'd like to offer to the student athletes, the coaches, the parents that might be watching this? Anything else like that might be coming to your mind?
No, I think the only thing I would say is that this, for every situation we're faced with in life, I think we always have to look and see what the opportunity is. And there's opportunities here that, we're around family, and we're so much on our devices today and our phones today. And so I would encourage all of our students and parents to take this time to do things as a family, to put the devices away. And, I can't tell you how many board games we've played in our household, which we haven't done, shamedly, we haven't done in a long time. And the fun that we're, trying to have while also keeping in mind the seriousness of the situation and keeping in our thoughts people that are going through some serious hardships right now. It's a time to reconnect. And I think that, that maybe could be one positive that we take out of this.
Great words, Ron. Thank you. So if you wouldn't mind, is it possible, depending on what happens on April 3rd, that we could touch base again and have another discussion like this?
Be happy to do it anytime.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you. Guys, thank you for listening. Ron Nocetti, we're honored to have you on. We wanted to give you this really short podcast so you guys could see that and meet Ron Nocetti, who's an amazing man and leader with the CIF. We will be keeping you updated as we go along with Honor Radio. We got other special guests that we're going to be having on, coaches that you may have heard of that are from different parts of the nation that are talking about how this is impacting them. So once again, Ron, God bless you. Thank you. And thank you, everybody out there, for watching Honor Radio. We will talk to you later. Take care.
Yeah, Mark, thank you.